Hey everyone, it's Tommy from the Goalie Crease Network, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to look at how you break in goalie pads, and a lot of it is up to personal preference. So for example, I like a stiffer pad, so I don't break my stuff in as much as some other people do. Some other people like a very flexible pad, so it's going to take them a long time to break their pads in. So what I'll do is I'll describe to you how I like my pads and how I go about breaking them in. So let's start with the leg pads. Now, I actually broke in this leg pad for about a half an hour here right before taping this video. So what it ends up looking like is about like this. And there's quite a bit of flex here. This is a single break and it's a pretty stiff pad even though it's the new CCM. You can see the boot has quite a bit of flex and there's the single break and that has quite a bit of flex too. But it obviously doesn't come that way. So here's what I do. And this is the entire reason why I'm sitting over here today instead of over there where I usually do the reviews. What I like to do is I like to sit on them while I play my video games. So for example, I have my headset here. I'm going to go ahead and put this on now. I have my gaming controller right behind me. And here's what I do to break in my pads. First thing you want to do, because this is so stiff, you want to move this out of the way. I move the calf in, and then I start to bend it down, and I'm going to sit on it while I play for about a half an hour. So, here we go. Move this out of the way, move the calf down, back up just a little bit here, bend it down, and I'm going to sit on it just like this, and I'm going to play a video game here, and I'll see you guys in about a half an hour. Okay, so not too shabby of a game. We lost, but I went 27-6, so it's not too bad. So it's time to get up, and you can see here the pad is quite squished, and that's where you want it to be. Now, one thing that I do is that I make it a little straight again, make sure it retains that shape, but after you put the calf in, put the knee landing where it's supposed to be, you can see you get very nice flex out of this. Now, one thing you want to make sure that you do before you sit on it is make sure that you're not getting torsional flex. And what torsional flex is if you are twisting it and it goes down like this, or the opposite way, if it goes down this way. The reason you don't want torsional flex is because when you go down in your butterfly, and if you have torsional flex, it can actually lift up that little 5-hole area. And that's a common thing in a lot of pads. And not all the time is it due to people breaking it in wrong, but sometimes I will see that. So you just want to make sure that there's no torsional flex, that you're pushing straight down, and that way you're getting that still a very good straight break, and at the same time you're still getting a lot of flexibility. And that's how I like my pads. So now that we have the leg pads done and ready for tonight's game, let's move on to the blocker and the glove. Now, the blocker really doesn't need a lot of work to it. The only things I really do to it, besides using it, is at least on the CCM and the Reebok blockers, there's this little tiny index finger protection. So what I'll do is I'll actually move that up, and it actually velcros in there, so I like to move that up. Just creates a little more room for my stick area. Otherwise, I don't do anything to my blockers at all. If it is very stiff, if you find a brand that has very stiff blockers, what I'd recommend doing, just squirt a little bit of water on there and just play with it, and that's really about it. There's not really a whole lot you can do with breaking in blockers. Now, moving on to the glove, this one is very interesting. Now granted, the CCM didn't take a lot of breaking in at all. In fact, right out of the box, it was very easy to close, which you obviously saw in the review video. So, very easy to close. So what do I do normally? So let's say if the glove came and it was very stiff, what would I do? What I would do is I use a method that a lot of people use, and then I make a little twist on it. So the first thing I do is I run it underneath hot water for about a minute, in two different areas. The first one is right here in the palm. So I always start there, and what it does is with very hot water, just straight from my sink, run it straight there, and that will start loosening it up a little bit. The second place that I put it in is right here in the wrist area, straight down into where my palm sits. So now you're not only breaking it in on the outside, but you're breaking it in on the inside. Once that's done for about a minute, each side, you want to put your hand in. You want to be very careful doing that, obviously. You don't want it to be too hot. And then what you do is you close it, so it's closed exactly where you need it. Take your hand out very carefully, keeping that closure exactly where it is. And then what I'll do is I'll either tie it using some skate lace, or what I'll do is I'll just wrap it straight in a towel right there. So if I have a towel, what I'll do is I'll just wrap it up, and that way it doesn't get anything wet. And then I'll stick it underneath a couch, exactly like this. So how do you want to stick it underneath the couch? The way that I do it is this section will be underneath the couch. So it'll go right along this thumb area right here. That way it keeps that really nice closure right where most of the pressure of your thumb really is in the glove. Now here's the twist. What I also like to do for about 12 hours, and this is after setting it underneath the couch for about a day, 24 hours, I will take it out, and it'll probably look something like that. I'll open it completely, still wrapped in the towel because you don't want to get your floor or your couch wet. I'll put it underneath the couch again, but now it's completely open. And where I'll put it is right about here, and that way it gets it completely open. And then when it's done, you'll have a huge opening, which is absolutely great, and it'll close very easily. So that's really all I do with breaking in my equipment. I don't really break in my pants. I don't break in my chest protector either. Those are, you just play with them, and they eventually break in. That's really about it. So hopefully that helped a couple people, especially with the leg pads and the glove, the blocker. Not a whole lot you can do about that. So good luck out there, and hopefully I'll see you around the forum.